Let's talk about the furry comic Bethellium. With around 300 pages to its name, nice art, and cute characters to boot, it stands to make a strong impression on everyone that comes across it. We're joined by master magic user Zoanna, a practitioner of alchemy. That is, changing one thing into another using magic. She lives out in the middle of nowhere and isn't much of a people person. She's called upon to move to the magical city of Bethellium. Bethellium is considered the last real stronghold of magic users the world over. A recent war turned the public's opinion against anyone that can wield the arts, whether for good or for evil. Right away, I'm excited. A whole world full of magic users crammed into one city. That is fertile ground for culture clashes, drama, people that don't get along, forbidden romances. So much potential here on the merit of the setting alone. Magic is becoming a rarity, so if everyone that's left is all gathering into one spot for safety, it makes for excellent drama if the comic is willing to take advantage of that. Bethellium is depicted as a hidden place that no one else can find, and even crossing the bridge into the city itself requires a guide so that you don't become magically panicked and throw yourself over the edge or something. I am stoked. I can't wait to see. Once Zoanna gets close enough with her magical map she was given, she is guided to the city proper by Ellie. Ellie is best girl. She's a shaman who is so cute and so pure of heart that whenever she sings, flowers around her burst into bloom. Like I said, best girl. I am honestly getting some shy lesbian vibes, but that might just be me. There's a lot of female characters in this comic, so the ships are almost all girl-girl. From there, we're introduced to an ensemble cast of sorcerers, wizards, elementalists, alchemists, seers, paladins, priestesses, etc., etc. All the various vocabulary words that mean magic user. Lots of very attractive ladies that all employ various forms of magic, with a couple of guys that pop in on occasion. Everything from the creation of magic items to throwing fireballs like a D&D character. They're all here. And right then, the comic falls on its face because it commits one of the mortal sins of any swords and sorcery comic. It tries to explain its magic system. We just said that these people are from all different cultures and names and magical schools, and now they're all united under one system, regardless of where they come from. According to this comic, magic is divided into several schools, several elements, several casting styles. It needs one source, one channel, one objective, and I do not care. I do not care. If you remember, in the past, I've said that it's a bad idea to start your comic with an essay explaining your world's lore. The same applies to your magic system. If it's not overtly relevant to the plot, the reader is not gonna care. I don't want to read a textbook to find out why one character can throw fireballs and another can travel in the spirit realm. Just say it's magic, give them a couple of sentences if you have to, then move on. Comics are not suited for long-form explanations. You cannot do this and expect to hold a reader's attention. Yes, Zoanna is a master alchemist and it's very impressive, but you don't have to teach me the intricacies of her work. I'll just take your word for it. That aside, Master Zoanna is pulled into the world and politics of Bethellium. As you might imagine, when the whole world hates you, it's very easy to get paranoid and become isolationist. Right away, the governing council wants to test her, make sure she's trustworthy, and if they decide that she isn't, they're going to wipe her memories and throw her back outside the city. I'm pretty sure you called her, but what do I know about script writing? It's insulting, but understandable. Everyone in this city is a survivor, with inquisitors and other magic haters combing the world for their kind. It's very easy to understand why they're suspicious of everyone. One powerful magic user waged a war on the known world and spoiled the image of magic users everywhere in the process. I can only imagine the witch hunts that took place. I'm not kidding. There's a lot of politics and a lot of threatening to white people's memories in this comic. They're very on edge people. Not the least among which is the comic's main antagonist, Princess Catherine. Catherine believes that Master Zoanna is related to a vicious assassin alchemist known as the Red Hemlock. She's hyper-aggressive in trying to wheedle out all of her secrets and past history in front of everyone. She's not a nice girl and wants to bring the High Council to vote to throw Zoanna out of Bethellium before another massacre takes place. Catherine was witness to what happens when an alchemist goes on a rampage. She was traumatized by the raw power of someone that knows their way around a potion-making kit. Alchemists might not throw lightning bolts or fireballs, but they can certainly kill everyone in a city with, say, acid rain or a fog that makes you drop dead. The fact that Zoanna is the same race and wears the same clothes as the legendary monster doesn't help. Zoanna is not the Red Hemlock, but she sure knows a lot about the dark arts. That includes bleeding while casting her magic, which sends Catherine into an absolute panic. Anyway, I don't want to give too much of the story away. I gotta say, I'm pretty on the fence about recommending this one. The comic starts out promising us a magic city where Zoanna is supposed to teach others her alchemical arts while doing her own research, and 300 or so pages in, we've gotten none of that. Bethellium itself is rarely shown outside of the central castle we saw on Zoanna's arrival. Apart from showing Ellie some of her books, she's not even entertained the idea of taking on a student. Atop that, Zoanna never tells anyone what kind of research, quote-unquote, she's doing or why it's so important. It's kind of a bad sign when a comic promises you 3 very interesting things within its first 5 pages and delivers none of it within 300 pages. This is story writing 101. Promise your audience something cool and then give it to them. If you withhold for too long, you lose people's interest, and unfortunately that is where Bethellium fails. Failure to deliver. Bethellium itself should have been a major character in this comic, and it's not. I fully expected to see pages and pages of sweeping bird's eye views of marketplaces and castles and magic stuff going on around every corner, but I don't think we've even gotten a good street view yet. While we do get occasional glimpses of what the city looks like, we spend the vast majority of time either indoors or elsewhere. Magic cities across all of fiction are incredible sights to behold. Atlantis, Ravnica, Canterlot, Rivendell. Given that Bethellium is completely surrounded by mountains, should make it even more amazing, especially considering it's crammed full of magic users of all walks of life. But what we get is the same old Germanic architecture for the residential areas, medieval Western European castles and walls, and that's kind of it. Come on. Everybody in this city can wield magic. There should be glowing street lamps, vendors selling magic items, weird animals, lots of wild and impossible architecture held together with crystals or chains or beams of light. This could be the wildest, most amazing looking town since Vegas, but it's just not. It's another bog standard castle town from every swords and sorcery thing you've ever seen or read. The comic is named after it. This was the thing to deliver on, and it just didn't happen. The city has no identity to call its own. And as I said earlier, Zoanna neither takes on a student nor tells anyone what her research is actually about. What was she working so hard on when she was living alone in that cabin at the start? No idea. It's never brought up again. It's hard to make secret alchemical research sound super interesting if the reader doesn't know what it is, even after hundreds of pages of story. I'm sorry, guys. I can't recommend this one. The artwork is beautiful, the characters are likable and hateable, but it's just not delivering what it promised me at the start of the story. Bethellium unfortunately bogs itself down in unfulfilled promises, overly complicated magic systems, and a refusal to tell us very much at all about our main character. I don't want to be led along for hundreds of pages before we get to the good part or the topics that were talked about in the first 5 pages. I'd say skip this one. Sorry. See you later.